And we are live. Welcome to the NBA Strategy Show. It is Friday, May 10th. I am Josh Engleman, and I am here to break down today's two-game slate. We have the New York Knicks 7-point underdogs in Indiana. No OG Anunoby. We have Denver 4.5-point dogs in Minnesota. 204 total. Lots to talk about for today. The Knicks are a problem, and we will get into it. But first, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live, and follow us on Twitter. What's good, everybody? Good morning. What's good? Ended up being the PJ Washington day, ended up being an Evan Mobley day. Celtics lose because of three-point shooting. All feels very, very familiar. But good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's good to be here. Oh, what's good, everybody? What's good? Fun stuff. Too much Cornette and lost because of it. Yeah. Antoine, you're talking a lot of shit for the person that told everybody to only play Jalen Williams. Spoiler alert, SGA had more fantasy points than anybody else on the slate, but probably didn't need him, right? Yeah. Definitely shouldn't have played that 67 fantasy points out of SGA. That probably would have been a disaster. That would have been rough. Would have been really rough. Oh. Josh did say Boston was going to destroy the Cavs. You know why? Because Boston was supposed to destroy the Cavs. That's it. That's it. Any OKC guy failed. Yep, except for the one that you had to have, otherwise you couldn't win. But other than that, Boston is soft. We're going to do this again. We're going to overreact to Boston losing because they made 50% of their threes. We're really going to do that? Yeah, I'm sure Boston's quaking in their boots. Boston is 50-50 to win the NBA title. You can choose Boston or any other team available, and you get a coin flip to win the NBA title. I'll stick with Boston. Mobley hurt. If that Evan Mobley would have chosen to participate in the Orlando series, they might have got rid of them before 7 games were up. But he sure didn't. He sure didn't. I don't know when this dude started looking for his own shot, but apparently it took a different series for it to happen, because that was not the Evan Mobley that existed against Orlando. Wolves handle Boston easy. Well, I hope you're putting your money where your mouth is, because you can get a pretty good line on that if you want to get it, but I'm sure you don't have it. I'm sure you don't have it. We ready to break this bad boy down? Because the Knicks are a problem today. They're a very big problem. And this is what the Knicks look like. Oh, Ron, take your Mobley out of here. I don't need that in my life. 50 lineups. 0 Mobley. I was dead pretty early. Pretty early. ROI Sims were good for me, so I'll take what I can get. But yeah, Mobley was the dude. The Knicks are the dudes today. Listen to this ownership on the New York Knicks. Remember, no OG Anunoby. Hell, maybe no Jalen Brunson, but 90% ownership to $4,100 Precious Achiuwa. 80% ownership to $5,700 Isaiah Hartenstein. 65% ownership to $6,300 Dante DiVincenzo. 50% ownership to Jalen Brunson. 40% ownership to Josh Hart. 10 to Miles McBride. Wow. I'm not sure I've ever seen 3 guys be 65% or more on one team in a situation like this. So let's start with the unassailable stuff. You see Precious Achiuwa at 90% owned. We have Precious Achiuwa 84% optimal, 90% owned. Am I lighter on Precious Achiuwa than the 90% we're showing? I am. I still have 64%. I don't really know how you get away from him. Probably going to play 30 minutes. They don't really have any choices, and he's 4,100. And you can put him in at power forward. Is he a good per minute dude? No. Again, does it matter? I don't think it does. He just has to be out there. Like, even in a worst case scenario of Precious playing like 26 minutes, he's still like a pretty good value option. And if he plays north of 30, I just don't know what you do here. There's a reason he's 90% owned. So anybody that wants to play Precious Achiuwa, you are looking at this just like everybody else is, because he is the easiest option to get to today because of that power forward eligibility. Now, Tyler Howell just hit us with a super chat. Isaiah Jackson or Justin Holiday are some sneaky plays today. We will get to Isaiah Jackson shortly. We'll get to Justin Holiday a little bit later. But I am a believer in Isaiah Jackson. I'm also a giant believer in the New York Knicks. The guy that I have the most of is Dante DiVincenzo. He's 6,300. He's played north of 40 minutes in a couple straight games. He's shooting guard, small forward. You know he's going to get his shots up. Indy's best defensive player is no longer active. This is an incredible spot for DiVincenzo, especially when you start thinking about what he actually needs based on his salary. 35 fantasy points. I think DiVincenzo is the best play of the day because of his position. You get shooting guard, you get small forward, guard, forward, utility. You can put Dante DiVincenzo wherever you want. And for his role, for that price, to me, he's the best guy you can get to. 66% owned. We have him 59% optimal. Looks great. We also have Isaiah Hartenstein 70% optimal. I have him in 88% of my lineups. He's going to play every single minute he can handle. I went 38. They need every bit of it. They don't have a lot of options. As long as Isaiah Hartenstein doesn't get hurt, he's going to play every single second that he can. And at that point, you're looking to pay off 5,700. That's 31 fantasy points as a target score. He's a fantasy point per minute guy. I mean, he's like 50-50 to do that. So he's in 88% of my lineup. I don't know how you get away from that trio of Achiuwa, DiVincenzo, Hartenstein. But it's not over there. Obviously, Jalen Brunson looks great as long as he can be out there. Even at 9,800, he's in half of the projected lineups. He's in 35% of mine. Josh Hart is going to play at least 46 minutes, barring injury, upwards of 48. The more likely scenario is 48. You just can't project it. He's 7,700. He's small forward, power forward. He's in 50% of my lineups. And I say that as someone that doesn't get to Josh Hart all that frequently. So that's 50% or more on Josh Hart, Precious Achiuwa, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Dante DiVincenzo. 4 separate dudes from the Knicks. I don't know what you do here. Now, it's possible Miles McBride falls into more minutes. I think he's very interesting for the Knicks given his current ownership. He has been aggressively bad in his past 3 games. But he's 4,200, and he has a line on 40 minutes today. Like, for every minute that Precious doesn't play, it probably goes to Miles McBride. Whether or not he ends up out there, we shall see. Terrible per minute, dude. Definitely the guy that you can get sneakiest with from the Knicks. I got to 14%. The 2 guys that I'm not getting to, Alec Burks, Jericho Sims. Could they be good value plays? Sure. Do I have any confidence in their amount of playing time? No, I don't. I went 5 minutes Burks, 5 minutes Sims. Could that be 10 minutes to either one of them? Yeah. Could it be 15 to 20 of either one of them? Yeah. I just don't know how you go to it. Like, Sims is live for a DNP. Burks is certainly live for a DNP. Like, what if Dante DiVincenzo plays all 48 minutes? We saw him do that recently. If DiVincenzo plays all 48 and you're getting 40-something plus out of Jalen Brunson, do we even really need to talk about Alec Burks at that point? I don't think so. So I don't really have anything that I could possibly say about Burks and Sims To me, it's DiVincenzo, Hartenstein, Precious, Hart, Brunson, and then whatever you guys think about McBride. Hart plays the whole game. You got to play him, like it or not. Yeah, no, you don't. That's not how this works. Josh Hart, 42% optimal, 40% owned. Did I miss the Josh Celtics cope? As if I'm a Celtics fan. What are you guys going to do with the Knicks? How do you get away from it? Like, even if you're just looking at it like you're leaving one dude out. Who are you leaving out? As I look at it, the guy that I would actually like, I realize that I'm about to say that I would leave one of these guys out, and I have 88% of him. But I think the easiest guy to get away from is Isaiah Hartenstein. Because you can get Turner, Isaiah Jackson, Jokic, Gobert, Towns, Naz Reid. You have other real options at center. And all it takes is Hartenstein foul trouble for him to like not get what you were really looking for. But as I look at it, I'm getting more of him. But if you're just trying to think about it holistically, I think Hartenstein's the easiest guy to get away from because he's center only. Weird situation. We got to remember, it's a great spot for the Knicks because of the Pacers' defense. The Pacers' defense isn't very good. That saves New York from a fantasy perspective a bit. Tibbs only playing 6 guys. I mean, I think Brandon, he's going to play like 6.5. But it's going to look really wild, man. These guys are just going to eat all of the minutes. All of the minutes. All right, let's look at Indy now. Hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. 233 people in the door. Now, this is another weird one. We're casting an ultra wide net. Let's go to the big one. TJ McConnell, 4,800, 60% owned. Now, look, I've done a bit of a mea culpa on TJ McConnell, and I definitely think he looks good. We have him 48% optimal, 63% owned. He's over-owned. I got to 32%. I think TJ McConnell is the best guy from Indy, but 60% is way too much. They have not shown yet that they are willing to close with TJ McConnell. And if they aren't willing to close with him, 60% is too much. Now you're just thinking he has to just play well in 22 minutes. That's a little scary, but I still want to get there. And then everybody else is just a wide net of ownership. 25% ownership to Aaron Nesmith, to Pascal Siakam, to Tyrese Halliburton. 20 to Miles Turner, 10 to Shepard, 10 to Jackson, 10 to Toppin, even 5 to Andrew Nembhard. The Pacers are on a completely different wavelength than the Knicks. You will not be surprised to hear that I'm getting to Aaron Nesmith. He's in half of my stuff. It's that price. It's that position. I think Anunoby being out, honestly, is going to be, as weird as it sounds, a little bit of a benefit to Aaron Nesmith. I think he might see a couple extra looks just because the Knicks defense is going to be a lot worse. S&P, isn't it? It's thrilling. It's thrilling. I'm also over on Nembhard, who's only 5% owned. That one scares me because his defense has been so bad against Brunson. But the one I want to point out, Miles Turner, 6,800. He's 20% owned. I have 40%. That's part of what I'm talking about in terms of getting to a guy that is an Isaiah Hartenstein if you want to go that direction. Similarly, Isaiah Jackson's 3,100. He's 10% owned. I have 22%. I love Isaiah Jackson as a paydown option. Seems like they've established him playing the large majority of the backup center minutes behind Turner. And I'm going to make that work today. So I think, especially now with the Knicks having more centers that have to be out there, I think this becomes a decent spot for Isaiah Jackson. Pascal Siakam looks way different not having OG Anunoby hound him. 7,900, small forward, power forward eligible, 25% owned. I have 32. Happy to get there. I'm light on Halliburton. I have 18%. He's got to shoot the lights out for it to be great. It worked quite well for him in game 2. We'll see if that can continue. I don't know if he has that in him in back-to-back games right now. You can see, other than the major negative leverage we have on TJ McConnell, we've got pretty sizable positive leverage on Obi Toppin. We're at least neutral on everybody else. 4 separate guys in the 20% optimal range. Miles Turner just behind it. Obviously, TJ McConnell way above it. You could just take a lot of different bites at the apple with the Indiana Pacers tonight. And they don't have a lot of options in terms of like changing up their rotation. So I think you can feel pretty confident minutes-wise here. But the only guy that concerns me is TJ McConnell at that ownership. I do think he's the best thing you can get to from Indy. 63% owned is a lot. That's a lot. What do you guys like from the Pacers? Because this is a team where you really need to take a little bit of a lean somewhere. Where are you guys going for the Pacers? Who's the best play on the Pacers? I'll tell you what, the prop market, I'm heavy on Pascal Siakam's projected points right now. The prop market is not backing that up. Everybody all over McConnell, man. Interesting. The McConnell thing is so scary because if they don't play him more, it really becomes a problem. Smokey, congrats. Don't sleep on Shepard for a 3K punt. Well, right now he's the only Pacer I don't have. I wonder if TJ McConnell's path to closing is worse now because the Knicks are going to be bigger. I don't know, though. Look, if they're not going to close with him, 63% is just too much ownership. If we think that they can close with him, and you think that McConnell can get up to 24, 25, 26 minutes, that starts to support that 63% ownership. But that's it's dicey. Like I said, I have him. I have 32%. I like TJ McConnell. 63% is too much. I think Miles Turner has become a very sneaky option today at 19% ownership. It is going to be interesting. I mean, Turner's the guy that I have second most. How are you guys feeling about Turner? I don't feel like you guys see him in the same light. But if you're going to get heavy ownership to an Isaiah Hartenstein, is Miles Turner the craziest pivot? Is that the easiest way to get a little different? The Toppin one is starting to get scary. Because that dude's just, his minutes are just stuck. Marvin's getting Turner. Yeah, people not liking Turner. Only 19% owned, guys. Only 19% owned. There we go, Skittles. I mean, I only went 32 minutes to Turner. In an ideal world, he's probably playing 36 plus. This is going to be a fascinating first game. I hate that I'm not going to be able to play this slate tonight because I really like this ability to get away from some of the ownership. All right, hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. I want to talk to you guys quickly about what you see on the screen right now. Sims Max weekly package. Normally $59.95. Right now, using the promo code Edwards, $20. $19.99 for a week of Sims Max weekly. As long as you use the promo code Edwards. We're celebrating Anthony Edwards here. You can get our NBA Sims Max package for $20. That gives you our projections, our ownership, the boom bust tool, contest generator. You can generate up to 5,000 lineups almost immediately. Simulate those results against themselves. Get your simulated ROI, your win rate, your top 10 percentage, all of that stuff. You get access to our premium Discord and more. Everything you see on the screen. Late swap if you need it before the 9:30 starts. We've got a lot of really good NBA slates coming up. This also covers Showdown. If you want to get in with our Sims at Stokastic.com, the promo code is Edwards. You get it for $20 for a week. All righty. Let's look at the Denver Nuggets. 4.5 point dogs in Minnesota, 204 total. The Nuggets, basically everybody is exactly owned the same. 20% ownership to Aaron Gordon. 20% ownership to Jamal Murray. 20% ownership to KCP. 20% ownership to Michael Porter Jr. 28 to Nikola Jokic. Now, this scares me because obviously I am going to continue to think Denver's going to try to get something done here and not go down 3-0. Although they are underdogs, so in theory, Minnesota is the team that wins this game. But every starter for Denver is like a 20% guy. I am under the field on every one of those dudes. This is a very, very difficult spot for the Denver Nuggets. Now, we have it with a little bit of positive leverage to Jokic, but we kind of have these guys all in the same optimal realm. What we really have is no ability to get to anything else from Denver, whether that's Christian Brown, Justin Holiday, Peyton Watson, Reggie Jackson. These guys are getting no love whatsoever. And I'm not surprised. You kind of got to lean on these starters right now. But I am finding Denver very, very difficult to get to. I barely have Aaron Gordon. I'm a little bit under on Jamal Murray. I'm half the field on KCP. I'm a third of the field on MPJ. I'm a third of the field on Nikola Jokic. Denver's tough. What do you guys like from Denver? You guys think Denver wins this game? What do you want to get to? Because I don't know. This is tricky. Like, obviously, if you can get to Nikola Jokic, you want to get to Nikola Jokic. But this is a tough defensive assignment. You're on the road. There's not a lot of pace in this series. I'm terrified by it. Because you think the reigning MVP is going to go out there and defend his team and do everything he can to save this season. But on paper, I don't think I'm getting to much Denver. This is my least exposed team. It is not close. I have 44% of Denver. They're projected for 108. I have 190 of Minnesota. I have 562% of the first game. This is Nuggets' last hooray. Okay. That's not the word. What do you guys want to do with Denver? Are you going to get here? Like, I don't love that Aaron Gordon price. Jamal Murray feels tough at 7,800. MPJ at 6,700. Are the rebounds going to be there? I think I have to play this one as if Minnesota is going up 3-0. It didn't sound right when you typed it. Well, I mean, I know you weren't going to change it. You have no problem typing things that don't sound right constantly. I wouldn't expect this to be any different. I'm putting it on paper right now, at least based on my exposures. Minnesota goes up 3-0. DraftKings pick 6. Sign up. Get up to $100 on your deposit. There is a link in the description of this video. If you like pick'em sites, you're going to like DraftKings pick 6 because this is not just against the house. You are peer to peer. How well other people do depends on how much money you make when you get it right. It's a great dynamic. I highly recommend you do a little bit more research on it. We've got videos on the Odd Shopper channel explaining your best practices for pick 6. Odd Shopper has DraftKings pick 6 plays in it. You could use the optimizer to build out your card, but you get up to $100 in pick 6 credits as long as you sign up using the link in the description. These peer-to-peer games are going to be the future. Getting in now and understanding how they work is going to be big for you in the long term. And you guys can sign up clicking the link in the description. See, here's the thing, Antoine. I know I'm going to be wrong constantly. I talk about this stuff for 2 hours a day and have to give an opinion on everybody. You think having one opinion right one day makes you awesome, or having one opinion wrong one day makes you awful. None of it matters. I'm going to be here every day doing the exact same thing. It's going to be wrong a lot. It's going to be right a lot. Doesn't matter. Thinking that one play on one day is smart is so useless. It means nothing. Adam, yes, I'm not playing today. Today is my 10-year wedding anniversary, so I'm going out to dinner with my wife. It's because being wrong on a DFS slate is going to happen constantly. It's a giant range of outcomes. I don't care at all about being right or wrong about one of these plays. It's totally meaningless. It's totally meaningless. Nikola Jokic today is projected for 61 fantasy points. It means that his range is 40 to 80. I don't take a lot of pride in landing in that range. Others do. I don't. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. You're never going to see me victory lap an individual DFS play. I might victory lap the process of it all. Like, oh, I think this guy's going to play more because of the matchup and he gets it. But output, who cares? Thanks, Skittles. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's been fun, man. It's been fun. It's a long time ago. I don't feel like that person anymore. All right, let's get to Minnesota because Minnesota looks fantastic today. Let's close it out. Minnesota Timberwolves, 40% ownership to Karl Anthony Towns, 30% ownership to Mike Conley, 20 to Jaden McDaniels, Anthony Edwards, and Rudy Gobert, 15 to Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 10 to Naz Reid. I got a couple pretty big stands on the Minnesota Timberwolves. But let's start with the big one here. Anthony Edwards, 20% owned, 9,300, shooting guard, small forward. Love it. 44% of Ant. They can't stop him. KCP isn't strong enough. Aaron Gordon isn't fast enough. 20% owned for Anthony Edwards playing 40 minutes, shooting guard, small forward? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. But let's talk about what I think is ultra sneaky. Naz Reid, 9% owned. I assume we have positive leverage on him. We don't, actually. We also only went 19 minutes. I got 22 for Naz Reid. Naz Reid looks amazing to me if he's 9% owned. Any foul trouble to Gobert, maybe even foul trouble to Karl Anthony Towns. You can get a couple extra minutes. 22 minutes for Naz Reid, a fantasy point per minute guy. Why is he 9% owned? Who's in on Naz Reid with me? I think Naz Reid is the sneak tip play from Minnesota. I love Anthony Edwards at 20% ownership. Karl Anthony Towns is the best play on Minnesota. The 42% ownership to me is justified. We have him a little bit of negative leverage. I'm over the field. I even got a little bit of Mike Conley today. I'm light on Jaden McDaniels. He's playing a ton of defense and not as much offense. So I'm okay with this. He'll explode at some point. The guys that I'm light on are Rudy Gobert and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Look, there are a lot of centers on this slate. If you want to tell me that you prefer going to Gobert, I'm not going to say anything about it. But he just happens to be the guy that I'm not getting to at center today. But this Minnesota team looks great here. You're not at elevation any longer. You're defending your own floor. You're at full strength. Some of these guys should be owned more, and I think that's Naz Reid, Karl Anthony Towns, and Anthony Edwards. If that Reid ownership goes up, obviously it changes the outlook, but I love him at 10%. What do you guys like from Minnesota? Who do you want to take the stand on? Because I feel like everybody's team Minnesota for this series. If that's the case, what do you want to get to? I assume you guys want to join me with Anthony Edwards. My number one lineup coming out of the Sims: TJ McConnell, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns, Miles Turner, Aaron Nesmith, Michael Porter Jr., Isaiah Hartenstein. That's the number one lineup that got generated for me coming out of the Sims to start the day. If I had to pick one, Halliburton or Edwards. Gene, are you asking me for today's slate, or do you mean like in life? Lefty Shank. That seems like exactly where I am. An overwhelming supply of Knicks and Pacers and a lot of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Today's slate, it's Edwards for me over Halliburton for sure. It's Edwards in life as well, but it's a different conversation. I mean, this is a wild slate. The Denver Nuggets, the defending champs, the team with the reigning MVP, are the team you look at this on today's slate and you're like, don't think I'm getting to that. That feels so scary. So scary. What's my first Jokic lineup? That's a good question. Let's take a look. It's not going to be very highly ranked, I don't think. It's pretty high. Conley, Nesmith, Hart, Achua, Jackson, DiVincenzo, Towns, and Jokic. I actually like that lineup. So that's 140 ROI. Where does that actually rank? So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my 6th ranked lineup. This is a fun slate. I would love to play it, man. I might be able to play Denver, Minnesota showdown. I assume I'll be home by that point. I might be drunk, so maybe avoiding that is in my best interest. But yeah, when I finish this show up, you don't get me again until Sunday afternoon for NBA Live Before Lock. What time? Live Before Lock is at like 4 or something stupid on Sunday. What is the Sunday schedule? Sunday, okay, that's not too bad. Live Before Lock will probably be 2:30 to 3:30 on Sunday. The same slate: Knicks, Pacers, Nuggets, Wolves. But yeah, no live Before Lock for me tonight. I will be out to dinner. What else we got? Anything else you guys want me to touch on before we get out of here? This is a fun one. Oh, you know what? I didn't hit on the schedule for the day. Beep, boop, boop. All right. MLB strategy show is coming up next at 11 a.m. That's going to be Laffy and Bellman. You get Greg and Bellman tonight at 5 p.m. for MLB Live Before Lock. NBA Live Before Lock tonight. You get Eric. He's not going anywhere. You also get joined by Rinpack. So you get Eric and Rinpack for the hour. Greg will be on playback tonight. I don't know who's going to join him. Could be Eric, could be Rinpack, could be both. That's what we've got going on today. I am absolutely not going to look at the showdown slate, but good try, though, guys. Good try. For now, I'm going to bid you adieu. Reminder, one final time, $20 for the Sims Max weekly package using the promo code Edwards. There should be a link in the description. If there's not, there's just going to be a link to sign up for the Sims. Enter the promo code Edwards when you do it. But that's going to do it, folks. That's going to do it. I'm going to get on out of here. Thank you for joining me. 2-game slate. Enjoy the rest of your day. This one was fun. Oh, by the way, we won Prize Picks. So if you're looking to win again, go check out my Prize Picks card on the Odd Shopper YouTube channel. We will talk to you guys later. Peace.